Well, during this time of year, it's possible that you might see or hear it said that the birth of Jesus was the result of an unplanned pregnancy. And I think people say this with good intentions, but the truth is that that's not the case. And I want to think about what that phrase means, but first to look at how the incarnation of birth of Jesus was the most planned event of all of history. After the fall of Adam and Eve, God promised to send the Redeemer, and he enacted his plan. And over the course of thousands of years, he formed a people, and he sent prophets to describe in detail when and how the Messiah would be born. And just to share a few examples, the prophet Daniel said during the time frame in which the Messiah would come. The prophet Micah said where he would be born, namely Bethlehem. Many of the prophets spoke about how he would be born of the tribe of Judah and from the line of David. And the prophet Isaiah spoke about how he would be born of a virgin and how he would be preceded by a prophet, namely John the Baptist. And that's what St. Luke tells us in today's gospel, quoting the prophet Isaiah. And so all of these things were proclaimed ahead of time. And there are about 50 prophecies of Jesus before he came. And this is truly remarkable. The odds of one person fulfilling all of these prophecies are staggering. It's like astronomical odds. It's like the same as if you were to win the lottery every single day for a century. That's the kind of odds we're talking about here. It's really rather remarkable. And this is why the great mathematician Blaise Pascal said that the greatest proof of Jesus Christ are the prophecies. And it's really something that we should take to heart, that God, in his wisdom, prepared all this ahead of time and proclaimed that it was going to happen. And Mary must have known all of these prophecies. Growing up and learning about them, she would have been taught them. And she might have known even more than that based on the gifts that she had received and then the angel Gabriel appearing to her. So this was really the most planned event of all time. But I want to think about that phrase, we say unplanned pregnancy. I think this is really a modern term because pregnancy by its very nature resists very specific planning, obviously, because it takes into account a man and a woman, a husband and wife, and God. And that's how people are brought into the world. And so it's not something that can be planned very precisely. Of course, it's possible that we could regulate the birth of children for serious reasons and not out of selfishness, using methods like natural family planning. It is illicit to use things like contraception, but because it is contrary to the conjugal act, the nature of the conjugal act. But it is possible maybe to regulate the birth of children, but every child needs to be received as a gift because every child is a gift, and each of us is chosen and willed by God. We're not the product of a chance. Pope Benedict said, each of us is the result of a thought of God. Each of us is willed, each of us is loved, each of us is necessary. That's what he said. And so in some sense, there's a plan for everybody's life. And this is really beautiful. It's something we should think about, that if God had a plan for the birth of his son, then he has a plan for our lives too. And the more that we know and love God's plan for his son, the more we will know and trust and follow his plan for our life. And so during this season of Advent, when we kind of look at these prophecies of the Messiah ahead of time, we should think about how God in his infinite wisdom prepares everything in advance and carries it out with marvelous love. And that's what he's going to do in our life too. As it said in the second reading today, that St. Paul says, I am confident of this, that the one who began a good work in you will continue to complete it until the day of Christ Jesus. And he could say that about our life. too. And so may it be so. May God continue the good work that he's begun in us until the day of Christ Jesus.